And Daddy's Troopers, this is Joe Combs here, and welcome back to Fallout 76. We are going to learn the fate of the responders. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Overseer's Law, Morgantown. I used to love coming here on weekends, taking flight lessons. Now it feels like I walked into a nightmare. Those scorched things are everywhere. I kept quiet. They didn't see me. I managed to observe them for a bit. Whatever this disease is, it seems to completely take over its host. The ones that used to be human, eventually they go rigid, like some kind of stasis. And if they stay like that for too long, they sort of burn up from the inside out. Vesuvius in reverse. I wondered what could possibly cause all this. And then I got my answer. It swooped down from the sky, screeching, breathing, infecting everything. I don't know how to fight this. But we need to consider all our options. Even the nukes. We find the source of this scorched plague and wipe it from the map before it can leave Appalachia. But first things first, we can't let the disease spread to us. Looks like the responders were developing some kind of inoculation. I'm going to pick up their work. You should too. This is the Overseer, signing off.
Oh, I just wanted to remind everyone that the Fire Breathers unit is always looking for more manpower. If you think you've got what it takes to handle our toughest missions and take on the Scorched, then Melody and Madigan would love to meet you. Don't forget, it's a dangerous assignment, but it comes with benefits. You'll have top priority for both rations and ammunition. We ask the fire breathers to put their lives on the line, but we reward their bravery where we can. The job's not for everyone, but if you think you can handle the recruitment process and training, then I ask you to consider signing up. Thanks. Chaps. Personal files, senior members. Other members. Complaints. We just received another complaint about the Grafton mayor's office. This time the mayor is being accused of illegally soliciting funds for his re-election campaign. The mayor's assistant allegedly demanded a contribution in exchange for notarizing documents. This one is more serious than the last three. I'd better go check it out. Follow-up, an officer was sent to the mayor's office in Grafton. He found some irregularities with the mayor's assistant's procedures. A citation was issued to correct the problem. The officer noted that Grafton's mayor claims there aren't funds to make the changes. We'll let a judge sort it out. Mark it. Messages. Has anyone seen Larry Pickerman? I think we read those. We'll read it again. Everyone, please keep an eye out for Larry Pickerman. He's been missing for a couple days. If you haven't met him, he's about 6 feet tall, brown hair, green eyes, age is about mid-50s. He came in with the last big group of refugees. You might remember him as the electrician who decided to do some unsolicited work on our main computers. I'm sure he meant well, but we had to have him escorted out of the command center. Anyway, hopefully he's okay. He borrowed my only screwdriver and I really need it back. So if you see him, send him my way. Jeff. Dealing with the Brotherhood. Yeah, I think we did this. Yeah, we read those. I remember reading those. Good morning, Luke. How you doing this morning? Doing okay? Plywood supply delivery. Miguel, I delivered part of the supply shipment to your safe as requested. I wasn't sure where you were. Guessing you're out in the woods again somewhere. I don't see your robot anywhere either. So I figure you're safe. I'm going to see if Maria needs me to take anything back to Flatwoods, so I'll be around for a day or two. Find me. I miss you, Gary. Task. Do this week, fix camping program bugs, check Flatwood's kiosk for issues, get Gary a gift for his next visit, take another chair to the camp. Flatwood kiosk. Task, program a new serve volunteer kiosk system for Flatwoods. It must be able to process several dozen volunteers a day. It should teach them basic skills using time donated by local responders. Your contacts are Keisha and Delbert. Both are willing to be the model for this program. Okay. I don't typically use those, so typically I sell them as fragmentation mines. Okay. So we were up here looking at the medical laboratory. Inoculation project announcement. Folks, I've got some exciting news to share. As you all know, Dr. Hudson has been continuing her research in the lab at AVR Medical. Well, she just reported in to let us know that she's made a significant breakthrough. And it looks like inoculation against the Scorched Plague could soon become a reality. Let's all keep our fingers crossed and make sure to do everything we can to help her complete her work. Our very survival depends on it. Scorched research, introduction. Those of us struggling to survive in the post-war world face countless threats. The search for safe and sustainable sources of food and water would be enough to challenge anyone. But the strange mutated creatures appearing throughout the region greatly increase the danger of day-to-day life. None of these threats, however, compare to the Scorch. To better understand these monsters of the wasteland, I've spent time observing them and gathering information from those individuals, lucky enough to survive first-hand encounters with the Scorch. There are still far more questions than answers, but I believe I have made progress in my understanding of these enigmatic and fearsome creatures. Details on specific subjects follow. Scorched Beast. Scorched Beast, the name conjures terrifying images of huge mutated bats that poison the ground and warp living creatures into deadly thralls. We first learned about the Scorched Beast from the Brotherhood of Steel, whose soldiers encountered the creatures in the southeast. At first, nobody believed that what they were describing could be real. We thought it was a bullshit story giving the Brotherhood an excuse to commandeer our ammo and supplies. We were wrong. I'll never forget the first time I saw one of those beasts, monstrosities. Black wings against a blood red Sunset, talk about a reality check. We know far too little about these creatures, but we do know they aren't strictly nocturnal. They also seem equally willing to move alone or in small groups, and they're highly aggressive. Worse than that, they're dangerously radioactive, which I believe is an important clue about their origin. If we ever get a hold of one for study, I think we could learn a lot about them. Unfortunately, being anywhere close to a scorched beast is a near certain death sentence, and not just because of the radiation. I'll cover that more in the next entry. The Scorched Plague. I'd love to give a detailed explanation of what the Scorched Plague is and how it works, but right now, we know so little. It just wouldn't be possible. Frankly, it's damn frustrating. What we do know is that living creatures that come into contact with the scorched beast sometimes begin to mutate. The victim's skin turns dark, almost black, with the smell of ash. Some kind of biochemical process takes hold at this point. Lesions that burn with intense heat begin to form on the victim's body. The affected creature appears to be covered in smoldering embers. In the case of humans, higher mental function eventually disappears, replaced by extreme, almost animalistic aggression. We call the creatures that are transformed in this way scorched. Needless to say, watching a friend or loved one go through this process is both horrifying and heartbreaking. Worse, there's almost nothing we can do about it. I say almost because been able to gather enough information about the Scorch Plague that we might be able to develop a vaccine against it. That's a huge maybe. But we recently found some equipment at the AVR Medical Center that's in pretty good shape. With the right facilities and a steady supply of Scorch to study, we might just find a way to counter this terrible disease or possibly even reverse it. Only time will tell. Anti-Scorch tactics. I hope by now that I've made one point crystal clear. The Scorched are lethal. They are nothing less than an existential threat. If we cannot find a way to defeat them, or at the very least contain them, there's no reason to think they won't spread far and wide, transforming or destroying everything in their path. We don't know nearly enough about the Scorched to develop real tactics. What we know so far mostly amounts to common sense approaches for dealing with any deadly predator. I'll summarize those points below. If you're unfortunate enough to encounter a scorched beast, likely because it has decided to hunt you, do everything in your power to keep away from it. If you've got a gun and can find an enclosed space to fire from, that's ideal. Scorched beasts are too big to fit into small spaces. Remember that scorched beasts emit strong radiation that, coupled with their powerful bite, should compel you to keep your distance at all costs. Hold on. should compel you to keep your distance at all costs. If you've got no other choice, you should at least consider using some Rad-X before you engage the creature at close range. Scorched humans are savage and deadly. While their ability to speak is limited, don't think they're mindless. They retain enough intelligence and memory to use guns and other weapons, and they're hostile to just about everything they perceive as a potential threat. Fight the Scorch as you would a raider. All but one with a deadly plague. Of vital importance is keeping your distance to minimize the risk of infection. Stay in cover when you can, but give ground when you need to. Do not let them get close. I know that's not much to go on. There's still so much we don't know about these creatures. Hopefully it'll help at least a little. This concludes my report. Messages. I thought there was another computer. I thought there was another computer.
Attention all responders. This is a top priority message. Radar has spotted an inbound cargo bot. We've got to secure the landing zone so we can make the drop. We need those supplies, but the cargo bot's going to attract attention, so get ready for a fight. engine responders. Cargobot is now on final approach. Eyes to the sky, people.
Yep. Didn't I already get it? I thought I already got it. Squadron bird.
Don't face the wasteland without the proper supplies.
I don't know if I'm doing laser weapons. It's the only question on those. And I don't think I'm going to use that either. Typically, you'd keep that stuff, but I'm not going to.
If you have supplies to trade, I can be of service. Ammunition and other supplies available here.
I hate getting rid of this, but what's the legendary exchange? I know some people are thinking, what in the world? I wonder what I just did. Yeah, trying to get things started, trying to get things going. Yeah. Wish I could find more screws. All right, Luke, you have a good one, buddy. Thank you for tuning in. Traitors! If you or I sat in a room and recorded a robbery, then refused to give information regarding the culprit, we'd be in jail. But Quinn Carter, despite interviewing a man guilty of a far grander crime, walks free, support justice, and refused to buy any copies of the Charleston Herald until Quinn Carter is charged with conspiracy to commit treason or until she reveals the location of the traitor Sam Blackwell and all his fellow Free States secessionists. Alright, Luke, you do the same, buddy. don't know what to do with the Somerset special. I don't know if I should get rid of it or if I should upgrade it. I'm not sure. What else is another? I really probably should keep one of those scrap kits with me. And probably should keep a repair kit. Just in case. I can't put a pumpkin in? Oh, that's not a pumpkin, that's something else. What is going on? Time to dump out the trash. There's something I was doing, but I can't. Oh, really not. That one was a hard one to choose from, to be all honest. Alright. Oh, I need to go to the bathroom. I'm gonna go ahead and sit down for a second and I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. I'll be back. I'm back. Alright, let's go explore Morgantown a little bit more. I'm pretty sure, right? Let's check our missions.
Responder Survivors Volunteer Program. Advanced Training. Camping by Miguel Caldera. Robot Programmer Extraordinaire. Part 1. Finding the perfect camping location. Now that the world has changed, it's hard to stay safe. Used to be that camping was safe as houses. Well, until there was a strong wind, right? These days, nothing is really safe. Even in your camp, someone might hurt you. The perfect spot doesn't matter now. It's all about your defenses. You can build near people you trust who will watch your back, or build things that will watch your back for you. No problem. Anyone can do it. Remember, camps are mobile. We're all explorers now, camping in a strange land full of adventure, wonder, and danger. So, camp often, and rest a lot. Before the war, I was going to retire and go camping. Now I can do it every day. Forever. It's a dream come true. You know, do what you love, right? Now come to my camp, and I can show you some knots and framing techniques. Then, I'll direct you onto some helpful supplies. Good luck, volunteer.
Hey, Miguel, did you hear something? Of course not, because you're dead. You know, I've been tethered to Miguel for years. Years, standing here with his rotten corpse. And you know what? I hate camping. Miguel has some...
Camping Celiba's find a safe spot. Be sure to look for a fresh animal or human droppings nearby. Remember, if you find doo-doo, better shoo. Use recycled materials to construction your tent. You can find scraps just about anywhere. Why have a camp cooking stations? Even your own stash assignment. Soon should check in with any local responder and build a camp.
Miguel, I keep hoping that Abel will stop by and grab your bones. No such luck. Sigh. It's not enough that I am tethered to an invisible point forever, but the nickname so uncouth. None of the other volunteer bots had idiotic names. On the bright side, one day they'll rebuild this good world, and I'll be here to see it. I can't see it. I don't have eyes. An average volunteer takes 132 minutes to set up a camp for the first time. Responder Miguel set up this camp in only 9,999 minutes. Bravo. Miguel, you should have followed your own advice and built turrets and walls and all those things. Why didn't you? Miguel used to be laid back, but these days he's just intense.
I don't know what I need a flare gun for. Alright. Let's see what Miguel had to say. Dance bot doesn't stop dancing. These schematics are too complicated. I might in the future in some sort of description that says how hard these things are to build, but for now, it's on the user to figure out for themselves. Poison control bot explodes. I don't even think we have those bots anymore. I heard we sent one to Grafton and it exploded. I'll reopen this if I find one to test though. Responder projectons have no reaction. Right now, if you use this program on a regular responder bot, nothing happens, which is safer than explosions and puppy killing. So I'll hit this bug when I have time. Veterinarian bot attacks animals. This was the worst bug I've ever had to test in my life. R.I.P. Mr. Fluffy. You sweet pup. Explain why the robot's named Mr. Fluffy. Volunteer bot personality becomes me. I use this program on Mr. Fluffy, my personal assistant, to reproduce this, and it's confirmed he's now a jerk. I think I have a fix ready for this, but I haven't tried it out yet. iBots have no reaction to the program. Good. By now everyone has heard about what happened with Casey. and the two young survivors that arrived from Sutton. It's tragic there are no words, but he just didn't know. And they trusted him to know. So we've decided that all volunteers must now start as volunteer candidates first. And during this time, we go over the basics now, food, water, and that sort of thing. Casey decided to travel into the mountains to clear his head. We tried to persuade him to stay, but it's his choice. We hope he'll return soon. Still serve kiosk. The new kiosk should help us handle additional volunteers should any arrive. Lately, most of the survivors are too injured to help themselves, let alone others, but they see the kiosk as a sign that people will be arriving soon to help. We need that hope. Kiosk bugs. Interviews. We are the survivors, folks. We are learning how to live out here, and we need to preserve and distribute this knowledge. Do you know how to make clothing from animal hide? Determine a good berry from a poison one? Let's talk about it. Let's tell the world what we've learned. Welcome. Welcome, responders and volunteers. Thanks for working with us. As you know, we are trying to cope with the influx of survivors that need our help. The new volunteer program is going to help us concentrate on medical help while volunteers focus on basic survival needs. We are also collecting data from the responders database, which will help us rebuild Appalachia one day, so please contribute data when you can. Miguel's journal. Oh no. Hello world. It's been real hard being on my own since the bombs dropped, but the responders, they have it figured out. They got someone working on vaccines and medicines and stuff. They even turned regular people into volunteers. I took all their survival training programs and passed with aces. So now I'm a responder too. Nifty, right? The cause. The Scorched Beasts scare me more than anything. It's why I joined the responders. I knew I couldn't live alone anymore. And they have stuff figured out. I just wish maybe they got along better with the Brotherhood. It's not us or them. It's all of us together. It's a shame. Programming again. I used to be a programmer before the bombs fell, and well, guess what? I program robots now too. I mean, it's important work. I get it. I can help out in the lab too with the other programmers, and it's a good thing to have company. They said they'd let me do some outdoor survival orienteering for new responders though. So I'm looking forward to that. Okay. Hope in Flatwoods. I'm hoping a couple of responders set up a base out there. Hello, Bobby. Welcome in. Base out in Flatwoods for a bit. They think a bunch of survivors will start getting processed there, so I'm gonna go set up camps. I could do this forever. Camping under the stars and helping people out at the same time is the dream, you know? Mr. Fluffy! We're actually making progress. Oh man, I even got myself a new Protectron bodyguard today. It has an attitude problem though. But that's what happens when you put a bunch of parts together randomly sometimes. I called him Mr. Fluffy, which really irritated it for some reason. Error, metallic surface is not fluffy. Error, does not compute. I've seen it before, so I'm going to need to write a program that resets their brains. This might take a while. Despair in Flatwoods. Flatwoods is rough. So many refugees, not enough responders. I'm going to start making advanced training courses for volunteers because there aren't enough of us to train everyone individually. Good news though, I met someone on the road between the airport and Flatwoods. Glad to have someone who will keep me company. It's a long walk and Mr. Fluffy the robot is not a good exercise partner. Reset program. I wrote a program that will reset my Protectron's brain to settings that are a little more conventional for a robot instead of standing next to me day and night forever. Which is, I gotta say, really ruining my sex life right about now. Peace of Appalachia. I should have signed up for the Voltec stuff, but the thought of being in a tin can for 100 years was too terrifying, but here it is. Every day more of us die. I haven't seen a refugee in too long. If I'm going to get ripped to shreds, I'm doing it with a pot of Delbert's chili in the woods and under the beautiful stars. I refuse to die in office, but I need to wait for Gary. Then we'll go together. This is it. All I've wanted to do since the bombs fell was help people and explore what's left of nature. But he's dead, Maria. Gary died this morning. It was just an accident. One of those things broke through the gate. I already buried him up on the hill with the others. What's the point here with any one of us, any of this, if we can't even protect ourselves? I'm going to my camp, and I'll take my robot. I just need to figure things out. So I died. That sucks. He set up on the hill. Right?
Miguel, I told you, don't make that chili nearby. It smells too good. I could detect it from the airfield. Why didn't you listen? Demonstrate your camp expertise and build a generator to power electric devices such as lights. Remember to connect the devices with a wire. If your camp doesn't have all the necessities,
I've already
consider
built
using
it.
irradiated garbage to add that special touch. Camping wasn't always for everyone, but now that everything is destroyed, it's quite literally now for everyone living the dream. Right, Miguel?
So I gotta go back to my camp. already did that quest.
Responder Survivors Volunteer Program. Advanced Training, Secure the Supplies by Kesha McDermott. Volunteer responders, like you, must help stock our supplies regularly. If any of our caches are depleted, well, we'll run into a heap of trouble. Since this is your first time on patrol, I will walk you through it. First, head to the triage center. This exercise will take you around the primary Morgantown airport. Now, you want to restock these caches regularly. Volunteer. The triage center sees the heaviest of casualties, so the supplies here are probably always running low. Restock, then head out to the tarmac. Responder Rocky's set up in the processing camp in a cargo container. Hey, you are doing good work, Volunteer. I know it's tough to walk through the wounded and just restock shelves, but we need you to do this. Other responders will take care of them. We need people to depend on. If we're all safe, then we can rebuild anything. The world isn't destroyed, you know. It just needs our help. Anyway, the next supply cache has a key, but you will need to pick it up from Responder Rocky. Just tell him that Kesha has you doing patrols. heading over to the medical center. You want to keep your patrols pretty quick so the responder database doesn't lock you out. We use the processing center to hold food and drink supplies for any new survivors brought back for triage. So, it's real important to keep stocked. It's been such chaos keeping things well stocked. Since the scorched... well, since the bombs. Seems like forever now. Like I used to tell my students, things are always a different kind of tough, and so are you. You only need to be tough enough to make it. But the addendum is, you also need to have resources and support to make it, and nobody can make it entirely alone. Okay? Now, go on to the clinic. While you're here, ask the doctors if they have any special supply requests. After that, head over to the control tower for your last stop. As you can clearly see, we need to constantly restock all of these supplies to keep our heads above water. And there's just no signs of it getting any quieter anytime soon. The control tower is on the tarmac, and it's your final patrol stop. I am so glad we established the volunteer program. We've gotten many good responder volunteers this way. DASA does good work in Flatwoods.
Oh, I know what I'm talking about. I finished hooking up the air raid siren message broadcast to the ATC system. I asked Jeff to paint a circle around the area that these automated cargo vertibots keep choosing to land. I guess the rest of the airport is a little too cluttered for them. What this means to you: when the ATC radar picks up an approaching vertibot, it'll alert this terminal, which in turn will fire up the air raid siren and transmit a broadcast. Hopefully that'll give us enough time to mobilize at the landing zone and keep it clear of whatever unwanted guests the vertibot attracts when it gets close.
hard, right? Miguel has programmed some of the bots to restock the supply caches, but nowhere near the rate that we need. So, the goal is that we pull in volunteers to do at least one patrol for formal advanced training. Your assistance is greatly appreciated. When you log into the Responder database, you'll be able to look up additional caches. Thank you for your service, volunteer. And remember, helping others will help yourself.
I'm going back to camp. And then we'll get some other things done when I get back. Alrighty. That's going to be it for me for now. I will see you all here in a little bit. If you enjoyed the stream, hit the thumbs up button. If you haven't subscribed yet, definitely hit that subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications, and turn on all notifications so you see all the content that are released. Y'all have a blessed day or night when you watch the stream. Thank you all for the support. Thank you for tuning in and watching. Thanks for watching. So, troopers, YouTube, dismissed. Show comes out.